Hey guys, Matt here, bringing you a new segment on this channel called Double Deck Mondays. Now, Double Deck Mondays is basically where I do 2 deck profiles in one day and give it to you guys. Now, it could be 2 of my own decks, 2 decks from different people, or 2 decks from the community, decks I just like here on DevPro, or I approach someone on like Facebook, YouTube, really anywhere. Now, there's no real requirements other than the fact that I put out 2 deck profiles in one video on Mondays. Now, to start today's deck profiles off, we have the very first submission to Double Deck Mondays, and it is Austin Shackelford. Sorry, Austin, if I pronounced that wrong. He built an Yugioh deck, and he told me that I could profile it up here on my channel. Now, his Facebook will be in the description if you want to talk to him about this deck, get his opinion, or, frankly, if you like the deck. Now, starting off the list, we got the 5 pieces of Yugioh, which you kind of need. Then we have 1 Yugioh, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. Because of all the cards in this deck, basically all these cards in the deck, if they send any of the pieces to the grave, except for the head, you can get it back with Yugioh. Next, we have Emissary of the Afterlife. Now, with this card, you get a peek in your opponent's deck for 1 normal monster. If they don't have any normal monsters, you still get to look at their deck to see what they're playing. Now, again, if it's destroyed, you also get a card, which basically allows you to take an Yugioh piece and put it in your hand. Next, we have 2 card Ds. Now, card D is for draw power, just to get the Yugioh in your hand as fast as possible. Next, we have 2 Max Cs. Max Cs, again, draw power. If someone's playing Mermails, really any deck that special summons, it gives you a lot of draw power in this deck. Next, we have 3 Swift Scarecrows. Stop attack as much as possible. Same thing with a 3 Battle Fader. That's it for the monsters. Next, we have the spells, which is 1 day a piece. Again, no damage for a turn, draw an extra card. So you get those Yugioh pieces in your hand as fast as possible. Next, we have 2 card advance. You get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, then place them on the top of your deck at any order you want. So basically, if you only need 1 piece of Yugioh left, and you use this card, and it's in those 5, immediately put it to the top. Next, you have 3 Upstart Goblins for the extra draw power. 2 Pot of Duality, because you don't really special summon much in this deck. I mean, you use these to special summon, but it's not on your turn, so you can use Pot of Duality as much as you want. MST to stop your opponent from going off as much as possible, because Yugioh is based on you getting the cards in your hand as fast as possible. Now, that's it for the spells. Now, under the traps, we have 3 Legacy of the Yatagarasu. Basically, you get to draw a card, or if your opponent has a spirit monster, you get to draw 2. Next, we have 3 Reckless Greed. Reckless Greed, again, mainly for draw power. Next, we have 3 Gift Card. It's basically just a card that gives your opponent 3,000 life points, and with 3 copies of it, that gets them 9,000, and with the 3 Upstart Goblin, it gives them another 3,000, so they get 1,200 life points. Next, we have 3 Hope for Escape. So basically, if you play the first Hope for Escape, you get to draw 6 cards, and then it just goes up and up from there. Next, we have 1 Jar of Greed. Jar of Greed is obvious, you draw a card. Dark Bribe, I'm guessing to just stop as much as your opponent going off as possible. Now, he had a side deck, and it was mainly just in case, he needed a little extra stall power. Now, 3 Gemini Imp. If your opponent's playing a deck that makes you discard like Dark World and stuff like that, Gemini Imp will negate it and allow you to draw an extra card. Next, we have 3 Swords of Revealing Light. Again, stall power as much as possible. 3 Soul Taker. Now, in his video that he did, he only put 2 on screen, but he said 3, so I assumed he said 3. So I put 3 in a side deck mainly because it basically just destroys 1 card on your opponent's side of the field. It just allows an extra boost, kind of like the Gift Card and the Upstart Goblin, so you can play Hope of Escape again. Now, Dimensional Fusion is the next card. You only play 1. It's mainly just to stop certain cards from going to the grave. Now, I know it kind of makes least sense if you're playing Yugioh, because if your Yugioh pieces go to the grave, you're kind of fucked. But Dimensional Fusion kind of helps if you're against a Shadal deck, Light Sworns, or something like that. Now, that's it for the spells. Onto the traps, we got an extra Jar of Greed for extra draw power, I'm guessing. We got Imperial Iron Wall for cards not being able to be banished. Now we have 1 Soul Drain, mainly because to stop effects from the graveyard and from removed from play. And finally, 2 Dark Bribe. Now, I'm guessing, again, to stop your opponent going off as much as possible. In my opinion, I think 7 Tools of the Bandit would be better because it would allow Hope of Escape to give you more and more cards. Now, that's Austin Shackelford's. Sorry again, Austin, if I pronounced your name wrong. He's the very first deck of Double Deck Mondays. Now, on to the second deck. Okay, guys, on to the second deck. Now, today's deck profile, I'm not going to go deep into because I did a deck profile over on Yugioh Protege's channel, and this is the deck that I used. I just wanted to go a little bit over it if you guys didn't go over and check it out, or I didn't leave the link somewhere. Basically, it was a Lightstorm Chaos engine, sort of. build, allowing me to just basically summon Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. Starting off the list, we got 3 Judgment Dragons. You know, Lightsworns need Judgment Dragon to really run very well. Then we have 1 BLS, you know, deck's kind of based around him and Judgment Dragon. Then we have Gores. Gores is just in here to stop. Gores is just in here to allow a little bit of stall power to get BLS in the field. And if he gets milled, you know, BLS fuel. Next we have 2 Chaos Sorcerer. Chaos Sorcerer, again, banish a light monster and a dark monster, summon them. 2 Wolf, mainly for JD's names that need to be in the grave. 3 Raiden for, well, you know, Raiden. If I'm going a little fast, guys, I'm sorry. It's only because I did a deck profile on this already, and I want you guys to go over to Yu-Gi-Oh! Protege's channel to check out the actual full deck profile on this. Next, we have 3 Lilas. You know, I don't run any MSTs, so Lila kind of helps destroying back row. And another fuel for JD. Next, we have 2 Felice. I know some people think it's dumb to run Felice and Wolf, mainly because it's a lot of dead draws, but Felice kind of gave me a little extra power to ditch when I had certain cards in my hand. Next, we have 2 Honest. Due to April 2015's ban list, it's gone up to 2. Now, originally I only played it at 1, and I either didn't mill it, which was a great thing, because I had it in my hand and allowed me to use it against all these Lightsworn monsters, or I accidentally milled it. Now, towards the end of the deck profile, I'm going to explain why milling it is not a bad thing. Next, we have 2 Mathematicians. Again, Mathematician just mainly there for the draw and the discarding power. 3 Lumina, mainly because, you know, Lumina is a key staple in any Lightsworn decks, and it allows you to special summon as much as you can. 3 Curry Bandit for helping with the BLS summoning and the Chaos summoning, along with getting a card to the grave and looking through your top 5 cards and seeing a spell or trap you want to keep. 2 Necro Gardenas, mainly because I like to stall as much as possible, or summon BLS or Chaos Sorcerer. Now that's it for the monsters. Now let's go to spells. Starting off the list, we have 3 Solar Recharge. Now Solar Recharge is a main staple in this deck because I can ditch any Lightsworn, which mainly I ditch Felice or I ditch Wolf. People think that the 2 Wolves and the 2 Felice is a bad thing because you draw it way too much and you can't summon it because its requirements say you can't normal summon it. But Solar Recharge will allow you to ditch it, and you get to draw 2 cards and ditch 2 more cards. 2 Monster Reincarnations. Monster Reincarnation isn't here due to, you know, Judgment Dragon, Blackluster Soldier, Chaos, Scores, or if you accidentally mill a Honest, which I was saying before, you get to get it back to your hand. Now, 1 Foolish Burial, only because, well, it's a Lightsworn deck, so you gotta ditch as much as you possibly can, so you can summon JD. Or, if you honestly want to, you can ditch Necro Gardener, or you can ditch Honest to get it back with Monster Reincarnation. 2 Turtle Light Brigade, it allows me to mill a lot faster in this deck. And, you know, if you ditch Necro Gardener, it's a good thing. Now, onto the traps. Now, I have 2 Beckoning of Light. Beckoning of Light is in here only because, again, I said milling Honest is not a bad thing, because Beckoning of Light, you can get it back, and again, Monster Incarnation will get it back too. But 2 Beckoning of Light, because getting your light monsters back to your hand is good. Now, finally, we have only 1 Breakthrough Skill. This deck is heavily based on your opponent not having effects going off, which is a good thing. With Breakthrough Skill on the field, you know, you're safe as much as possible. Now, that's it for the deck, guys. On to the extra deck. We got Scrap Dragon, you know, ditch a card, destroy a monster. If you have Curry Bandit and he's useless now, ditch him. Or Mathematician. Stardust, you know, indestructible monster, basically. Yazi, Evil of the Yangzing. Again, I suck at pronouncing names, so that's what it is for now. Yazi is in here mainly because if you can't get Scrap Dragon on the field, you can get Yazi on the field. Destroys himself and destroy another monster on the field. Next we have 1 Michael, the Arch Lightsworn. Now, Michael's in here because, you know, it's a Lightsworn deck. I needed Michael in here. And he's basically an easier Judgment Dragon to get out if you don't have the Lightsworn in your grave. Next we have Black Rose, blow up the field. You guys know the effect for Black Rose. 2 Arcana Magicians. Now, our Arcana Magician is in here because I don't run any MSTs, and so I put the 2 Arcana Magicians in it to destroy 2 more cards. Now on to the Xyz. We have Fujintai Kantus, can't pronounce, sorry guys. Next we have 1 Silent Honor Arc. Everybody knows what 101 does. Next we have 1 Exciton Knight. Again, everybody knows what Exciton Knight does. Blow up the field. We have 2 Laval Chains. Now, I use Laval Chain a little different than most people. I could ditch cards like everybody else does, but I put it on the top of the deck because if I put Felice on the top of the deck, it gets special summoned if I have a Lightsworn on the field, which is a good thing. Then we have 2 Wind-Up Zenmains. Wind-Up Zenmains, stall power, destruction power. Again, no MSTs in the deck, so I gotta destroy something somehow. Finally, for the Xyz monsters, 1 Fortune Tune. Now, I explained in Yu-Gi-Oh! Protege's channel why I like Fortune Tune and why he's in here, but right now, he's in here only because extra life points, indestructible, stall power. Now guys, I'm not going to go through my extra deck. My extra deck is all random shit that I put in there for testing purposes here on Dev Pro. Now that's the end of the very first Double Deck Mondays. If you guys like this and want to see more, please leave a like on this video. Now if you guys want to be included in the Double Deck Mondays, please leave your deck profile in the link below. Send me a message here on YouTube or in the comments, or send me a message on Facebook. My Facebook will be in the description. I'll accept decks from anybody who wants to send me decks. If you guys want to see certain decks maybe made up here, leave it in the comments also. If you guys want to see a certain deck profile made up here on my channel and put in Double Deck Mondays, please leave it in the comments. If you guys want to be featured, comments, PM, Facebook, anything really. There's no requirements for this as long as you have fun playing the deck or making the deck. Now again, next week will be the second Double Deck Monday, so get me as many deck profiles as you guys want. I'll feature them here up on my channel. I'll get to everybody like I always do. Now guys, if you like this new segment on my channel, please leave a like on this video so I can see if you guys want to see more of the series. Also, don't forget to leave those comments so I can see what decks you guys want to see or you guys want to enter into this series. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.